Haru was born of the desire to create a tale around the Japanese legend, the Foshijin. We focused on the symbol of spring, Seiryu, the azure dragon. We created our own antagonist, Ugetsu, the child of the moon. It's based on the myth of yokai.
The first challenge was creating our own magical universe. In pre-production, Jean and I used Chinese ink to sketch the temple and characters to establish our own aesthetic.
We wanted our dragon to look completely original, so I used real-world references such as sea slugs and rays. Ugetsu, on the other hand, has an enigmatic design, scary but expressionless, like the moon, which he symbolizes.
For this character, I turned the black ink 2D concept into a 3D model. I've built the model, the rig and the look dev from scratch and created believable looking dark materials like fabric, metal and skin.
Magical effects were key to making our fantasy world come alive. So, I created various FX designs to achieve an atmosphere of enchantment. To finish everything on time and maintain full control over my setup, I came up with procedural methods which allow fast and easy tweaking of the image. For example, for the plant growth setup, I use Vex coding and Subsolver to get different speeds for each stem. To avoid simulation and interpenetration of the flowers, I calculated their maximum p-scale according to nearby geometries. I collaborated with the compositors to give them the right passes and shading to get the desired look on my effects.
The next challenge was achieving a sense of scale. Seiryu, the god of spring, is a gigantic creature. To have more control over the model, I split his body in different parts on ZBrush. I created all my textures in Mari using the XYZ workflow for details like the scales and skin reliefs. I did the dragon groom in Houdini, creating different types of fur to cover the body and using the vellum solver to give them a floating and a magical look.
I faced a daunting task for the animation: how to make a huge flying dragon feel both alive and imposing. My references were Godzilla and the dragons from Game of Thrones. I used Grégoire's motion path system so that the whole body follows the path. Then I added some offsets on the body and tail to make him seem more alive.
Having two main characters in full CGI meant that the rigs needed some special attention. For the dragon, I built a motion pass tool which allowed the animator to use every curve she wanted as a customizable motion path. For the dragon's face, I mixed rigs and blend shapes. The tail and the saliva are simulated with dynamics and cloth on Maya. Finally, to add a fat pass on the body for close-up shots, I built a Houdini setup with vellum soft bodies.
Building huge fantasy environments required a specific workflow. I had to get a good resolution with reasonable render times and scene stability. To achieve the best results, I used a combination of techniques: digital sculpting, procedural height field modeling, and scatter setups I made in Houdini. I combined all of these techniques with matte paintings projected on geometries. I also built a large library of 3D atmospheric effects and clouds to complete the set dressing and convey a massive feeling.
As a specialist, I created the mountains, the houses, lights and the lake in Houdini and Claris, and then I lit, rendered and composited the scene to keep the overall balance.
We hope you were carried away by our mythical tale. Thanks for watching!